Being a bit of a history buff, I couldn't wait to take a peek at old Fort Niagara, where the spirit of the 1700s is alive and well.
Hey Brian, tell us about the great fort you've got here.
Well, right now we're standing at Old Fort Niagara in Youngstown, New York, which was first built by the French in 1726, with the building behind us known as the French Castle. It was later taken over by the British in 1759. They added several buildings and raised the garrison up to 1,000 men, and then it was peacefully handed over to the Americans in 1796.
Now, we're right at the mouth of the Niagara River where it meets Lake Ontario. Why build a fort here?
Well, the main objective of Fort Niagara was to control the portage route up and around Niagara Falls. Supplies and equipment would come from Europe down the St. Lawrence and into Lake Ontario, and then if they ever wanted anything to get farther up to what we called the Old West, they would have to go around Niagara Falls. So all the equipment would have to be taken out of the boats and actually carried all the way up the escarpment. And the garrison here at Fort Niagara would protect that route.
So was there actually any battles fought here over the years?
There was two battles. The first was in 1759 when the British attacked the French and took the fort from them. The second occurred in 1813, and that was sort of a surprise night attack. It happened in December in the winter, and the British took it from the Americans during the War of 1812.
They come in by ice or by land in the winter?
Both times they came in from land. You can't really attack from the water because we're so much higher on the
Hard to
land.
climb up those walls,
It's very
especially at
hard.
night. Now there's some great buildings here. Tell us what they're for.
Well, the oldest is one right behind us, is a French castle. Like I said, it was built in 1726 by the French, and its original purpose was basically everything from the guardhouse, powder magazine, kitchen, officer quarters. And when the garrison got bigger, they moved out. They built the bakehouse and the powder magazine, which is all the way across the field there. And the British added these two redoubts, or guard towers, and they would use to protect the outer works.
So this was their entire garrison where they worked and lived and fought from.
Yes.
Did families live here at that time also?
Well, families were allowed to come with the soldiers. About 2 women per company, or 2 women per every 100 men was allowed to come with the soldiers, but they had to be married, and they would do the laundry of the soldier.
Oh, that's a bad deal for the women.
They got half rations for doing that.
Now your interior here is all lawn. A lot of old forts are cobblestone. Why was it kept as grass?
Well, originally it would have been covered with buildings, actually. A lot of guard houses and barracks and things like that, but the parade ground is grass today, mainly to keep it from eroding. As you see on the slopes, if it was all dirt and it would rain, it would fall down and collapse, and the British had a big problem with that, so they tried to plant grass to keep it together.
Now I want to ask you about these flags. You've got 3 unique looking flags over here. What are they for?
Well, the 3 flags that we fly over Fort Niagara represent the 3 different countries or nations that held Fort Niagara. The one on the far right, the plain white flag, stands for the French Marines. The one in the center is the U.S. flag during the War of 1812, when they really had the most significant occupancy. And the one on the far left is the British Union Jack before Ireland was considered part of the United Kingdom, so it's missing the cross of St. Patrick.
So that represents a long history here.
Yeah, everything from 1726 to 1815 is representing those 3 flags.
Now you've got a great uniform on here. Can you tell us about that?
The uniform that I'm wearing is the uniform of a British private of the infantry. In particular, it was the 8th Regiment of Foot, which was stationed here during the American Revolution. So it's a standard red coat uniform that fought the colonials.
Now this great weapon, can I hang on to that?
Sure. That musket right there is the 2nd model Brown Bass. It was the weapon used by the British infantry during the Revolution. It's a flintlock weapon, and it uses flint and steel to create sparks, which ignites the gunpowder.
Woohoo! Went off automatically. Well listen, it's been great talking to you. One more question before we go. Is that thing made of wool?
Yes, everything's wool.
Does it get itchy in the summer?
Not too bad. We had the linen shirt underneath.
And that kind of makes it cozy.
Yeah.
Well, nice talking to you, Brian.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Thank you.
The fort is open from 9 a.m. year-round. Admission is free, and there's lots of RV parking.